Seven rules of life. And you know, it's funny. I came up with this a while ago, and really because life gets so complicated sometimes. And I love these numbers. And you can go ahead, Sean, go ahead, hit number one, and let's get right into it, because these sound so easy, yet we make them very difficult in our life. The very first one: make peace with your past so it won't screw up the present. It's funny, if I go back and I mentioned that the book that I wrote, The Positive Side, one of the things that's in there, and I'm very authentic about this and very true about this, is one of the big things in that book was I was sexually molested as a kid. And I'll never forget that time that it happened. And I carried that baggage with me for 30 years. I mean, it wasn't on the top of my mind. It wasn't like I thought about it like, oh my gosh, woe is me all the time. But I always thought about it, and I was ashamed and felt guilty. When I actually identify my true authentic self, I can't change that past. When I put that in the book, I just felt like all these things just released off my shoulders. I felt like I was at peace with who I am. And I mentioned that make peace with your past so it won't screw up the present, is how many other things in our lives, whether it be the tragic situation I went through, but all the things that are in your head that maybe you haven't told anybody. Are we still holding on to these things? Are they dragging us down? I think about that imagery of the show The Biggest Loser, when people are, they lose that weight. And then later on in the show, they put that weight back on and they continue to carry it. We don't realize how much of that weight is on us. But also understanding that the past doesn't define our future. And that, again, that's why I love number one, because if you focus on the past, you're never going to be your true authentic self for the people that need you the most in your life, your kids, your spouse, your friends, your loved ones. When you're truly authentic with yourself, that's when greatness comes out. Number two, what others think of you is none of your business. That is the best, isn't it? I mean, I love that quote. Let me read that one more time for the people way in the back. What others think of you is none of your business. And again, I mentioned earlier, it's the, comparison's the thief of joy, right? We think about that all the time as, well, what if I go for my goals and dreams and they fail? What would my parents think? I started the Positive Side podcast just over 4.5 years ago. And I'll never forget when I started the podcast, and I sent the first episode out and I hit send. It went out to, just people on my phone. There's probably 50, 60 people that got it. And I got all these quotes back from, are you okay? Do you need help? Do you need money? It was great. And what was also interesting was some of the people that I loved the most, they weren't really on board. My parents, even my spouse at the time, she just, it was more like, why are you doing this? And if I stayed in that area, if I kept thinking about that, what other people thought, I would never be where I am today. And over time, and just kind of continually listening to it over and over and over, but eventually they go away. All these haters that are trying to pull you back down to where they are, they end up going away. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you. Again, if we go back to that mindset, it's what we think about ourselves. And do we actually truly believe in our dream? Sure, it gets hard, but we have to remember that it's whatever others people think of us is none of our business. Number three, time heals almost everything. Give it time. Again, it's one of those things that, we can always picture. The first thing that always comes to my mind is having a loved one pass away. And recently here I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana, I've had a good friend of mine that lost their son at a very, very young age within the last 4 or 5 days. And I think to myself, when I was, reviewing all these numbers in there, and time heals almost everything, give it time. It heals almost everything to give it time, but it's like you never forget. Things will get better. No matter the struggle you're going through, no matter the tough times you're at, no matter where you are in your life, things are going to get better. You just have to give it time. I did a quick episode the other day. My goofy butt was walking out of my front door and tripped on the stairs and busted up my elbows, and I still got scabs on my arms and everything. It will heal over time, but I've got to give it time. There may be scars left over. There may be I may remember the things that have happened to me in the past, the bad times, but I've got to give it time. It's gonna get better. This past couple of years with COVID and people being locked in, and the depression rates have gone through the roof, and sometimes people out there, hey man, I just can't get over this. I promise you, and I say it in every single episode, you have greatness within, but you've got to give it time. So no matter where you are in your business, your family, your social life, whatever that case is, no matter how bad it looks, you've got to give it time. And I promise you, you will overcome all these obstacles. And the old saying, you've already overcome everything in your past already. Why would that change in the future? So no matter what you're going through, give it time. Number 4, Don't compare your life with others, and don't judge them. One of my favorite things, again, I mean, I got a lot of favorite things, don't I? It's great. One of my favorite things is, when I compare myself to other successful people. I do that, okay? I'm like, why can't that be me? Why can't I be successful like them? What did they do? How did they get over? Why are they so lucky? And I judge them. I'm like, it's like I take their greatness away and trying to like lower them down to where I am. And yet it doesn't help anybody. It's not going to help them. It's not going to change them because successful people really don't care, right? But it changes me. It takes away my greatness by trying to compare myself. The worst thing you can do is judge anybody, right? Because, it's the old saying, when you point one finger at somebody else, you got three pointing back at yourself. Well, that is a reality. I've done that for a long, long time. I'm getting better. But again, we've all had our own journeys. We all have our own struggles, and we don't know the path that anybody else has been on. I don't know the path that you've been on, and you don't know the path that I've been on, but together, we always get, we'll get further together than we will independently. Number 5, stop thinking too much. It's all right not to know the answers. They will come to you when you least expect it. Again, this is one of those things that Brendan Burchard, when we talk about these, over time, doing this, the habits, the power of habits, doing the little things. Things will come up, and they come to you when you're ready. When I started the Positive Side podcast, I hired a coach named Sam Crowley. You should check him out. He's got a podcast called the Every Day is Saturday. I'll never forget what I hired him. I said, Sam, man, this is going to be the greatest podcast in the world. There's no way I'm going to be able to handle all this. I'm going to have people calling me from around the world, wanting to be on my show, and autograph sessions. It was great. And you can just see the gears turning. He's just shaking his head. He's like, bro, don't worry about it, my friend. You're thinking about it way too much. These answers will come to you over time, but you just got to keep going. And I think that's one of the biggest things when we talk about these goals and dreams, and we're in the middle of it, or if it's just not working right, we just have to give these things time, because all the opportunities come to us when we're ready. And I still forget. I still think about it, and I use this all the time when I coach my own clients. It's just we are on this journey for a specific reason. You see that path for success where it's all squiggly lines. That's a reality. You're going to go ups and you're going to go down. So whether you're no matter what industry you're in, whether you're in the mortgage industry, the real estate industry, the insurance industry, whether you're in the podcast industry, coaching industry, whatever, your success will come to you when you're ready. So don't ever rush it. Enjoy the ride, enjoy life, and then just be present is one of the most important things. Number 6, no one is in charge of your happiness except you. And that is so right. We can look towards other things. We can look towards other people, but at the end of the day, we're never going to be able to help anybody until we help ourselves. One of the things that I've struggled with throughout my life is alcoholism. I've always, I'll have a good day, and maybe, hey, I'm gonna reward myself with a beer or a couple of drinks. I had a bad day. What do you do then? You reward yourself with a beer or a drink, and this is something I've struggled with for a long, long time, and I still struggle. Right? I mean, hey, I'm in it every single day, and I'm working on my mindset, but I remembered when this happens to me, all these things that are happening to me, I'm in charge of how I react to it. Not this alcohol, not any kind of drugs or whatever the case is. I'm in charge of my happiness. I can't look towards other opportunities out there for either people trying to help me, which is good. Hey, I have coaches as well that help, but at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to matter is the happiness within myself. Understanding that I do have greatness within. I am important enough. I just did a video this morning on my YouTube channel that just said, you are enough. And I am enough. And I think that's important when you do your positive affirmations in the morning, which I do every single day. I've got them all over my apartment. I'm going to get them on the mirror. I got them on the refrigerator. I got them everywhere. But when you go through these positive affirmations every day and you start your day off right, you are enough it's a big one. Because we're going to get all kinds of outside sources that tell us why we suck and why we're no good and why we're terrible, why this didn't work out. It's never going to work. But we got to understand that no one is in charge of any of that stuff except the way we feel. So if we can start out every single morning with doing those positive affirmations, getting that mindset right first thing in the morning, listen to a motivational video, listen to a motivational podcast, and really take charge of that happiness, your life will change by leaps and bounds. Finally, number 7, smile. And I love smile. You don't own all the problems of the world, Man, how real is that? Every morning I look at Twitter and I look at all the craziness going around the world, and man, oh man, I am too blessed to be stressed. And I think if you look at yourself in the mirror, I would say that you are in the same exact situation. Again, comparison's a thief of joy. However, when you actually compare yourself to people in different countries or people that are extremely sick or whatever the case is, you don't have all these other problems. You've got a roof over your head. It's that attitude of gratitude that Zig Ziglar always talks about. And I'm telling you, a smile goes a long way. And if I take it one extra step further, man, smile at strangers. I'm telling you what, you never know. That may be the only smile they get that day. You don't know what they're going through, but a smile will change the world. I promise you, on everything I love. But that, my friends, are the 7 rules of life that I live by and I think about, and I've got them written down and I go over. I say to them in my podcast every single day, well, every single episode that I do, you've got greatness within. And believe me, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. We all do. Today is going to be great. Sean, thank you for allowing me to do this. Oh yeah, real quick, picture of my kids. The reason I really like this picture, and Sean said, hey, let's get a picture of you smiling with your family and all that stuff. But the reason I really love this picture with my kids is that it just reminds me how important time is. This was back in Asheville, North Carolina. I lived there for a couple of years. And we went for a hike one day, and you can just see no care in the world, just being present and being happy at that exact time. And I think to myself, man, how fast is time flying? So everything that you go through the rest of the day, just keep in mind, time's flying. Be present and enjoy your life, because life is very, very short. You never know when your card's going to get pulled. That's why it's so important to treat everybody with respect, smile, and be extremely present. Sean, thank you.